And some people are like, listen, I don't want to do anything. Like, I worship Jesus as Lord, but I feel amazing when I do yoga. There's no other workout like it. So please speak into that directly.
So first of all, anyone listening, they need to know is wrong. You can argue with me all day. It doesn't matter. I was in it. It was a plan to get across. And so here's a few answers to do with it. Number one, if you can get the information, whether it's in my book or anywhere else, and we spend a lot of time, every single position is designed to give permission to a demon to come into you. All right. Now, a lot of people say, oh, but it's just stretch classes. It's just this. It's not. From a spiritual perspective, and this has never changed. If you go to India today, they are still sacred, holy positions and invoking a God in. Now, if we in the West think that we've got the ability to just, oh, who cares? It doesn't matter. We're wrong. It's not. We are physically opening up, just like if we physically opened up to something the demonic wanted to, and we opened up and we gave our faith away, and then the next thing we're sick or whatever. So it's opening the door to the enemy. It's always been planned that way. That's why we chose it to go through the whole Western society in the way. That's number one. Number two, I then get people say, oh, but I think about Jesus when I'm doing the exercises. All right. So I went to the Lord and said, you got to give me an answer to that, because that's, it's like, okay, what do I do? Because Jesus, your name is above every other name. Come on, you got to help me. So this is what he showed me. He showed me that in the old days when I was in the New Age, I was on the other side of the cross, practicing everything. I could sin, I could do stuff, whatever, it didn't matter. When I came through the cross and through the blood and that covenant, that's it. I can't go back and do the other practices. So I've never redone a New Age practice or wanted to do a New Age practice ever, because Jesus is so much greater. So that's the other thing. Jesus is so much greater than anything that would be in yoga or whatever. However, I needed an answer. And he said, okay, before I met my wife, I dated women. I wasn't even a Christian, right? So I dated women, and I had that type of a lifestyle before. Now, he said, when you met your wife, so I became a Christian, then I met my wife. He said, what happened when you met your wife? He said, you got married through a covenant, right? A covenant. I came through the cross. I came through a covenant. So on this side, I'll do everything to love her and cherish her. She's my wife. She's my bride, okay? Now, God showed me that if I, with my wife now on this side of the covenant and looking after her, doing yoga in the name of Jesus is exactly like I would go back and say to my wife, hey, babe, the woman next door, I'm just going to go and visit her. We're going to have sex, but I'm going to think of you when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
The Lord showed me it's spiritual adultery. And I even still get people argue with me, and I go, well, try it. Why don't you just try? Because they think, oh, but I feel good. There's a reason they feel good. It's spiritual.
Yeah.
Okay? It is spiritual. There's a lot. This is how the one world religion is being tried to develop. It has spiritual things in it, created us to be spiritual beings, but we're meant to be spiritual beings under him, not under the foreign practices.
Yeah.
And here's the last thing I'll try and say about that. I spent 3 years tracing back all the New Age things that are around today through history to find out where they came from. Every single thing that's around today was around in the Old Testament. I studied it through history, like, Mother Goddess was actually part of the Astereth poles that were around in the time of the Jewish days.
Yeah.
God warned his people 250 times, stay away from foreign practices. Stay away. Didn't say the name's greater so you can do it. He said, stay away. Stay away. Even Solomon fell at the end of his life because of the foreign wives and the foreign practices. And we know Jezebel did that. She brought in all her foreign Baal priests because she was a priestess under Baal. So what's our choice? And seriously, a lot of them, when I get to sit with people that are trying to argue to do it, first I go, why are you arguing to do it? Because God's better.
Yeah.
If you know how to go to God and you got a problem with your back or you got this or that, God's going to fix that if you go there. Don't go back to a foreign practice because it's not going to work. And know that I was with organizations that were purposely doing this to wean Christians away under a Hindu God. So it's not just exercises.
That is so amazing. I'm going to cut that clip for everybody listening in and just be able to just send it to somebody every time they ask me.